The Sixers dropped the Mavericks off and they're still in possession of first place in the East. Everyone wanted me to start with the defense, so let's see what happened to Luka and Dallas's offense. You know who I am, bro. Let's talk about it.
Did someone post bail for Luka yet? Dude got locked. Alcatraz, the penitentiary, Simmons State Penitentiary, Eastern State Penitentiary, whatever you want to call it. Luka was in it, and he was down bad. Simmons played a massive role in limiting dribble penetration and paint score. He terrorized his main assignment all night, and Luka didn't make not one three when defended by Simmons. He forced 4 Luka turnovers, which is the same amount of turnovers Luka had when defended by Simmons last season. It's probably a good time to enlighten you that dating back to Simmons' rookie season in 2017, he has the 3rd most steals in the NBA. And in that 4-year span leading all the way up to today when I'm recording this, Simmons has 55 more steals than 3-pointers surrendered. Think about that. Hey, someone post bail! Free that man Luka! Philly looked great defensively, especially early. Between Ben checking and neutralizing Luka and the Sixers getting out on shots, Dallas just could never get into a rhythm. Listen, that's the 3rd All-Star that Simmons held to 3 or less buckets all in the month of February. The Sixers forced Dallas to turn the ball over a season-high 22 times. The Mavericks averaged the 3rd fewest turnovers per game at 12.5. They had 11 in the first half alone. But what really stood out to me was how Philly responded to screens. They were doubling and hedging, which gave Luka a ton of problems. Joe hedges until Ben recovers, and they forced Luka into making a bad decision. And these doubles stopped Luka's dribble and prevented him from creating beyond the arc. Because Philly used this coverage, the other defenders gotta rotate and keep their heads on a swivel. Watch the rotation. Joe doubles and Ben tags the roller, which forces a turnover. Joe and Ben double the ball and force Luka into a bad decision. Joe dropped really well and Luka threw this dot right to Tobias. User pick! Again, double the ball, take Luka's dribble away, and the Sixers' defensive rotation takes care of the rest. Just imagine trying to dribble or create with 2 dudes that are 7 feet tall hawking you down. And I give a lot of credit to the surrounding Sixers because those defensive rotations were tight. Ben and Joe are initially taking care of Luka, but then the rest of the Sixers' defense rotates to get out on all of Dallas' shooters. Tim Hardaway Jr. dribbles past the double and Ben Simmons takes the layup away. Then Dallas swings the ball back to the wing and Ben comes out of nowhere to intimidate the 3.
Space is everything, and I'll tell you why the Sixers are such a nightmare to match up with.
You can't see Danny Green just yet, but trust me, there's 3 Sixers with shooting gravity spreading the floor out. This spacing means that Tobias can attack a mismatch in the post while keeping eyes on the closest help defender. And the Sixers spread Dallas's defense out so much that the other 4 defenders can only keep a foot in the paint when Tobias is this deep. I bet you he gets a grown man bucket. Yes, sir! Watch how Seth Curry passes and then spaces the floor out. This sets Tobias up nicely to go to work with 3 Sixers around the perimeter and only 1 Maverick with a foot in the paint. Watch this grown man bucket getter bully a 24-year-old. If you don't get this little boy off of Tobias, money look, talk to me. 3 with gravity around the arc and 1 in the dunker means there's a whole bunch of space for Joe to cash this mid-range layup. Keep an eye on Tobias. Pass it, space the floor. Just a few possessions later, the Sixers generate the money look, and only 1 Dallas defender has a foot in the paint. Ben gets it in the post, and Danny Green clears out. He gets up out of there to give Simmons more room to work. When it's time for Ben to get busy, he's got the most optimal look. First and foremost, there's 3 Sixers around the perimeter with respected shooting gravity. Second, the floor is spaced properly, so Ben, like Tobias earlier, has eyes on the closest help defender. And last, Dallas's rim protection is pulled further away from the basket because of Joe, so if Ben executes a move and gets past Luka, he's just gotta be Boban in a foot race to the basket. Look at the spin. Oh my... Did you see the spin run that back? You just don't have that kind of muscle, Luka. If you couldn't tell, the Sixers offense is so dangerous because teams just can't check Ben, Joe, or Tobias one-on-one. And Philly keeps breaking a game of fives down into these favorable one-on-one matchups. In the 12 games where Philly made 6 or more first half threes, they're undefeated. They haven't lost any of those games. But why is there a correlation between making first half threes and winning for the Sixers? Don't overthink it. Teams want to double the Sixers' big three. They can't let them feast on man-to-man matchups all game. And every time a double ensues, Philly generates a numbers advantage. If the Sixers capitalize on these number advantages early, there are some significant implications. The most notable being that teams gotta double less. And if they don't, they're gonna keep surrendering threes. That's why shooting is so important for this team. You gotta make the opponent pay for doubling. I mean, look at this. There's 3 defenders devoting all of their defensive attention to Ben Simmons getting downhill and not Seth Curry with the green light. Ben, Joe, and Tobias will always get theirs, and they'll put pressure on defenses like this. But if the other Sixers are hitting their shots, they can run with anybody. Like, look at what opposing defenses have to do. Willie Cauley-Stein can't stick to Joe. He's got to shuffle towards the basket in case he's got to help Luka. Long story short, Philly's a nightmare to match up with. And if they come out hitting their threes early, they've got a chance to beat anybody.
I'm running out of things to say about Ben Simmons. The dude can hoop. Film justifies it. The numbers justify it. People that know hoop will agree. Just appreciate what you got while it's here, please.
Ben Simmons has assisted the most three-point makes in the NBA in the past 4 seasons because of plays like this. His downhill gravity pulls the defense under the basket with him, and there's nobody on the shooter. Ben gets gone in a blur, and that's not something defenses are ready for. He tries to assist a 3, but when Curry dribble penetrates and pulls the defense forward, it gets back to 2-5. He had 11 first half points, which marked this, oh my God, weight room, he's too little. The 7th game in his last 10 with at least 10 first half points. Ben smacks a live rebound to Joe, and it's a dime. And here's why I don't care about anyone's three-point shooting criticisms of Ben. The Mavericks are only down by 10 in the 3rd quarter. This isn't somewhere where you want to be giving up threes. Look at where the defensive attention is, on Ben in transition and not the three-point shooter with the green light. So even without the threat of a jump shot, teams pick him up at half court and care more about stopping him in transition than checking three-point shooters. Peep the IQ. Ben sees Luka sag too far off to play help defense and backdoors him. That's a 6'10" freight train. No one's getting in front of him.
If you're worried about Joel Embiid, don't be. Stop that. He's still the most valuable player in basketball right now.
Embiid is 14 for 53 from the field over his past 3 games. That's 26%. He got to his spots. He got good shot opportunities, but the J just wasn't balling. He had a tough, physical 2-game series with Aaron Baines, and he got doubled every time he touched the ball. A couple of shots were short in this game, which could be indicative of some fatigue. There's absolutely nothing to worry about. He's fine, and despite Embiid having his 3 worst shooting performances of the season in their last 3, the Sixers still won 2 of those games. That's scary.
Philly's bench didn't get outscored, and they expanded leads in both halves. That's all you need.
Dwight turned in one of his best games as a Sixer. He has the most second chance points of any player to play under 600 minutes. Him and Shake bring unmatched energy off of the bench, and the 2 of them keep dissecting defenses together. What type of wizardry is that? Look at the pass. Shake and Dwight combined to score 24 points. Look at this squad. They don't care about your big. They fear nobody. We're in your chest. Dwight blocked 3 shots, and he ranks 8th among bench players for total blocks. He's also top 3 among bench players for total rebounds and offensive rebounds. Look at this layup package. Shake is converting over 50% of his attempts on drives, and he only has 15 turnovers in 250 plus drives. The 2 of them set the tone on defense, holding Dallas to 3 makes on 12 tries. In the first half, don't jump. This man's flying. The Sixers' second unit took a 1-point lead and pushed it to a 3-point lead. Then in the second half, they took an 11-point lead from the starters and turned it into a 23-point lead for the third unit.
The Sixers are creating sequences of options and put pressure on defenses with their playbook.
This handoff staggered screen action is a staple in Philly's offense. This is one of the creative ways that Philly breaks a game of fives down into a game within the game. This movement is designed to produce a 3-on-3, a numbers advantage to exploit, or a mismatch to attack. If any Mavericks defender outside of these three tries to interfere, there should be a numbers advantage in favor of Philly. Tim Hardaway Jr. plays help defense and interferes with the game of threes, so Shake Milton tries to make him pay for it. This action is so crucial to Philly's offense because the Sixers are weaponizing their screeners too and putting pressure on defenses 3 different ways. In addition to the Sixers getting the ball into their playmakers' hands in space, there's one Sixer popping out for 3 and one rolling to the basket. This just forces defenses to make quick decisions on the fly and communicate even more. Shake pops for a 3 and Dwight rolls to the basket, and you'll notice that their defenders respond to both of those actions. So the Sixers break a game of fives down into a game of threes and further a one-on-one where Furkan Korkmaz has the on-ball defender in his back pocket. Again, the Sixers simplify a game of fives into a game of threes, and there's one screener popping, the other rolling. But like I said, if any other defender tries to interfere with the game of threes where they're not welcome, the Sixers will try to make you pay. And finally, the Sixers used an action that was common through the first month of the season. There's a screener at each elbow. Curry's gonna run over them and his defenders gotta play tag with them. Philly's simply getting the ball into their playmakers' hands in space and letting them go to work. Then him and Joe initiate the two-man game, and you know the last name. It's too much space for a Curry.
Look, fam, that's all I got. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Real quickly, I wanted to shout out Theo, the mastermind behind some of the beats I used in this video. So if you're rocking with any of the music, support my brother. I'm gonna put his platforms in the description below. As always, I hope to see you in the next breakdown, but if not, allow me a sub, comment down below, like the video, share it with a friend, holla at me on Twitter, stay in touch with me, just do whatever you gotta do. But most importantly, just stay solid, baby.